All right, let's take a look at the Week 5 injuries that we're going to be tracking. Of course, the guys will have more updates for you before kickoff on Sunday on Fantasy Football Pregame. Lamar Jackson with his hamstring, that's going to look like a Cooper Rush game. Bucky Irving will not be playing as well. Foot and shoulder injuries. Chuba Hubbard will not be playing with the calf injury. Bashal Tutin has a shoulder. Michael Pittman with a hamstring. Deebo Samuel with a heel injury. Calvin Ridley with knee and elbow injuries. Brock Bowers is still working through that knee injury, and that's been pretty obvious on tape through a couple weeks now. I think the big one right out of the gate here, Jay, is that the Chubbler, Chuba Hubbard, with this calf, he's not expected to play Sunday. Rico Dowdle becomes a very he's on some waivers, honestly. This is like a kind of rush to the waiver wire situation, assuming just based on volume that he'll get.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle, it was a very favorable matchup as well against the Dolphins. That game is hanging around pick. There's not going to be that many games for the Panthers this year hanging around pick. And so I think that Rico Dowdle, he's much more attractive than, say, any of the Arizona running backs. So I think you can be pretty confident of the amount of work that he is going to get. So he is, he has to be obviously rostered in every league, and he's like a locked-in RB2 at worst for this week.
Well, he's 76% available right now. Matthew, how would you rank Dowdle after this news? Because this feels like a pretty large shift.
Yeah, I mean, I'd make him a top 15 running back. Again, he's 76% available so far this year. We've seen Dowdle. We've seen Dowdle last year in Dallas handle a big workload here. The Panthers, are they a great offense? No. Or can they be reasonably confident? Yes. And so I think Dowdle, where he may not be the most efficient, but he's going to get all the work in a matchup that doesn't really scare you. So give me Rico Dowdle over because I think there's going to be a massive workload there. I think Rico Dowdle over the Michael Carter / Amari DiMarcardo in Arizona duo, over the Rashad White, Sean Tucker duo in Tampa Bay. Isaiah Davis as well. Who's going to fill in for Braylon Allen as part of a committee with Breece Hall. Dowdle's the guy who can get the majority of the work right there. By the way, just while you're talking, 2 quick updates. Adam Schefter reporting Bucky Irving officially out for Sunday. So that is official. And worth noting, Joel Erickson, who writes for the Indy Star and covers the Colts, your Colts, Jay Croucher, says at Friday's practice, Michael Pittman is out here. I do not see Alec Pierce. That's what he just tweeted out. So doesn't mean Michael Pittman's definitely starting, but certainly a positive sign that he's at least practicing. The implication here from the tweet, Michael Pittman is out here, I would assume that he is actually practicing and not just hanging around watching.
Yeah. A big thing too, with these injury reports, is that it varies for different players. Michael Pittman plays through everything. That guy is tough as anything.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to keep him off the field. So if he's able to get even a limited practice in, I suspect that he's going to go. It's a little concerning with Alec Pierce, because Alec Pierce is coming off the concussion, and he did practice, I believe, in full the past 2 days. So maybe a rest day for Pierce, but that's a little bit of a concern for a guy who's dealt with a lot of concussions in his past.
All right, guys, how about Commanders? Jaden Daniels back, but they've ruled out Terry McLaurin for Week 5 already against the Chargers. Deebo Samuel with that heel injury, Matthew, he didn't practice on Thursday, so this could be once again another week of a lot of Luke McCaffrey?
Yeah, Luke McCaffrey, Chris Moore, Zach Ertz. I think they'll try to use the running backs as well. I think if I had to pick one desperately, it would be Luke McCaffrey. But I don't feel great about any of them really, unless you're truly desperate. I mean, I think some of the wide receivers I like that are available more than 60% of leagues. We've talked about them forever, Connor, but Alec Ayomanor, I think, that's not a terrible matchup. You're not scared about there. Ayomanor leads the team, the Titans. He leads it in targets and receptions, air yards, and he scored in 2 of the last 3. So I think he's pretty interesting. Troy Franklin for the Denver Broncos, of course. I am as wide receiver 32. He's available in 70% of leagues. Our old friend Trey Tucker, he's out there in about half the leagues. I'm at wide receiver 38. And Connor, the man you spent $1 zillion, all of your fab budget on, Malik Washington. I was a top 40 play this week in that Tyreek Hill role. He's available in 75% of leagues. Even if you don't start him this week, I think Malik Washington is an important grab and stash. Darius Slayton filling in the Malik Neighbors role, also out there in about half the leagues.
Another bit of big news across the fantasy landscape. Let's actually get to a question before we talk Lamar Jackson's hamstring injury and all of the stuff around that.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.